Did you see Crystal?
Yeah, they're walking from their vehicle where they parked, and then that's the entrance camera. That's Crystal, the two children and Eli, the other two children and Eli. And I think that's them checking out. There were several other camera angles that just kind of followed them to the store, right, exiting. About 20.
Did it give you a time for that?
I think it said about 4:39 p.m.
All right. Now, were you also looking for other video?
Yes, we just dispatched several guys from our agency. Bardstown Police Department helped, and we just went to any local businesses that we could find that were in the vicinity between their house and the farm to try to get video, because oftentimes that video, if you don't preserve it immediately, it records over itself, and we didn't want to lose anything, so we immediately started collecting that, or trying to collect that.
So there you have a look at inside that Walmart security camera video, and you notice the date on that of June 25th. But Detective John Snow there, as far as testimony on behalf of the prosecution for the case, and that was in regards to the second, I believe, of the two trials involved. But just that last view of Crystal out and about, just going about a regular day before she ultimately disappeared. Thanks to by the way, our social media viewers tuning in, a couple here, Chris and Tina there, noticed that the mic was muted earlier. So thank you for catching that, everyone. I apologize that if you were joining us on our social channels, including Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and on X. So hopefully you were able to hear, at least hear from my microphone quite clearly there to get that on your feed. So what you just listened to again, if you're just joining us, that was the last, at least publicly available camera video where anyone last saw Crystal Rogers alive 10 years ago. And so that is just one of those, never before seen from our vantage point, looks at the case that police, federal investigators, prosecutors were trying to build up to try and find some semblance of justice, and hoping to find Crystal Rogers wherever she may be. And so we want to show you some more of these insights into witness testimony in particular. These are going to be the long videos. If you're just joining us, we're going to play that really for the next hour, so you just can feel like you're inside the courtroom with the crowd, the audience that was there, and listening to all the testimony, some of it getting rather emotional, which we're going to play a little bit soon from Crystal Rogers' mom, Sherry Ballard, and some of it a little more confrontational, which you will see at least among the three men who were charged and then later convicted. Only one took the stand in his own defense, and that's Steve Lawson. You're going to see sort of the friction that built up as prosecutors were really trying to grill him on cross-examination. So we're going to start, though, with perhaps the perspective of one person who's just endured this much pain in the last 10 years. And of course, it all started around the time that Crystal Rogers disappeared, and in a separate investigation, losing her own husband. And so Sherry Ballard was the first witness for the prosecution to come up and take the stand when Steve Lawson's trial finally got underway back more than a couple weeks ago. Honestly, time goes by that fast. And what you're about to listen to is not only Sherry sharing her answers to what prosecutors had asked her. There's an aside where the camera is trained on the bench where the judge is, and sort of this side bar that they have this moment to discuss perhaps an objection one of the defense counsel had. And so from there, I'm going to play this very long clip. It's going to show you pretty much almost all of Sherry Ballard's testimony on that stand in that Bowling Green courtroom.
Would you please state your name for the record? It's okay.
Sherry Ballard.
Well, you're going to have to speak up. Okay, Ms. Ballard. I want to talk a little bit of background with you. Where do you live? Not the address, but what county you live in?
I live in Bardstown, Kentucky.
All right. And You're a widower, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you were married to Tommy, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you have children.
I have 3.
Okay. And go ahead and tell me. Who are they?
Crystal, Casey, and Brooke.
Do you have grandchildren?
I have 9.
My great-grandchildren.
I have 4.
The Casey and Brooke are still with us, correct?
Yes, sir.
And they each have children, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, they're both married.
Yes, sir.
And then Crystal, as we talked about, Crystal's deceased, correct?
Yes, sir.
I want to talk a little bit about Crystal. Crystal, the last time she was seen was how old was Crystal?
35.
35. Okay. And Crystal had children as well, correct?
She had 5 children.
And who is that? Who are they?
Ashley, Kylie, Trenton, Tori, and Eli.
All right.
Randy, you have any stickers? Just one would be fine. Numerical.
Judge, can we approach?
You may.
I know what the answer is going to be, but I'm objecting for the record to the calling of this witness to lay the foundation that he's laying the foundation for. I believe that there are other witnesses that are clearly qualified that can say the same exact things, that are not going to front load the type of sympathy that this individual is getting from this jury. She can't compose herself, quite frankly. And to me, we have fast forwarded to the sentencing. This is a sentencing witness to me, and I get it. I get it, Judge. She is a fact witness, and that's what they've called her for. But I object because she can't compose herself. I think the Commonwealth knew she wasn't going to be able to compose herself, and this is turning into a pity show for Miss Ballard, and I have pity for her as well. But it should not bleed into that jury. If we don't get to sentencing, then what we're seeing here can clearly be portrayed by somebody else that is less emotional and less sympathetic to this jury.
At this point, I don't find that the Commonwealth has gone anywhere near that at this point. So I'll note your objection to overrule at this time.
Sure.
I've got a juror says they can't hear the questions that you're asking, Mr. Youngs. A juror says they can't hear the questions. I don't know if that podium can move or what.
If that microphone had the podium.
Where did that microphone go? There you go.
You're quiet. Sure.
No, they can't hear you.
Oh, can't hear me? Okay.
They can't hear you.
I got you. Okay. Sorry about that. Oh, I gotta show that here. Sherry, I'm going to show you what's been marked as Commonwealth's Exhibit number 1 and 2, okay? And I want you to take a look at these. And do you recognize these pictures? Okay. And do they fairly and accurately portray what the pictures are?
Yes.
Okay. Could you tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what those pictures are?
One of them's a picture of Crystal, and the other one's a picture of Crystal and Eli, her youngest son.
All right. Do they fairly and accurately represent that?
Yes,
Judge,
yes,
I moved to
sir.
introduce into evidence. Thomas,
Any objection? Okay, I'll show 1 and 2 are introduced without objection.
And Judge, I don't know how to use my ears.
You can give them to the clerk there, or you can give them to the jury if you wish to publish.
Then to bail to publish
Yes.
to the jury?
We publish to the jury.
There you go. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Brooks and Crystal, okay? Could you tell me, are you aware when they began seeing each other?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when was that?
Gosh, probably 2000, the end of 2010, 2011.
Okay, you want to tell me the beginning of the relationship, how was it?
They had a pretty good relationship in the beginning. She actually rented a house from him.
Is that how they met?
Yes, sir.
She was renting a house from him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And eventually, did it develop into more?
Yes, sir.
All right. And at some point, did she move in with him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was she working at the time?
Yes, sir.
Where did she work?
She worked at a little minute mart. Sorry. She worked at a little minute mart that was right down the street from where she lived.
Okay. And she do that when she was living with Brooks?
Yes.
All right. And at some point, did they move in together?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when was that?
After she got pregnant with Eli, she was probably 5 or 6 months, I would guess, and she moved in with him.
All right. And did she move in with with Kylie, Tori, and Trent?
Yes.
All right. So they all four lived with Brooks. Is that
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Okay. And was she still married to Keith at the time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell me about that situation.
Her and Keith just didn't get along. They still had a good relationship, but there was things in their marriage that wasn't working, and she left him, and that's when she rented from Brooks, and she never got it. She couldn't afford a divorce. She was going to try to do some stuff on her own, but she couldn't afford it. So she was still legally married to Keith.
At some point, did she quit working at the store?
Yes.
And did she begin working for Brooks?
Yes, sir. She was going to do his paperwork for his rentals.
Okay, and I'm going to take you to July of 2015, all right? So in July of 2015, were Crystal and Brooks still living together?
Yes.
All right. And what was the status of the relationship then?
Not good.
Okay, what do you mean by not good?
She wanted to leave the relationship. Brooks had other girlfriends, and she found out about it, and she wasn't happy with that. And one time, just little things happened. Like one time they were skeet shooting, and he switched out the bullet in her gun for a turkey bullet. I don't know the details. I'm not a hunter, so. And whenever she did it, it kicked back and hit her shoulder and put a big bruise on her shoulder.
So things weren't good in July 2015?
No.
All right. So July 4th of 2015, you remember that weekend?
Yes.
All right. Did you at some point become concerned about Crystal's whereabouts?
Yes.
All right. And what was your first indication, or what was your first indication that something may be wrong?
Because I tried to call her and she never called me back, and she never not returns my phone calls, ever.
Did you hear from her kids?
Her daughter texts me and she's like, Mama, she was at her other grandma's house, and she said, have you talked to Mom? I need some clothes. And I said, no, honey, but I'll call her and tell her you're trying to get in touch with her. So I text my daughter, and I didn't think any more about it. I was actually watching The Young and Restless in my bedroom, and I would tape it all week, and my husband would watch what he wanted on the other TV. And so I didn't think, she didn't text me back, Callie didn't, so I just assumed my daughter got in touch with her.
Let me get a sticker. So you said you texted her?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's marked as comments exhibit number 3, okay? And I want you to take a look at that. Have you seen that before?
Yes, it's my text message to my daughter.
Okay. Could you go ahead and read those for me?
On 7/4, it says, Callie is trying to get in touch with you. And then later on that night, I said, everyone is worried about you, even your kids. Call someone.
Judge, does this fairly and accurately represent your all's conversation or your
Yes, sir.
text to her that weekend?
Yes, sir.
Judge, I move to introduce comments to number 3.
Any objection to 3?
No objection.
I'll show 3 is introduced at this time. May be published to the jury.
So were those texts ever answered?
No, sir.
So Sunday comes around, July 5th. You've not heard anything, correct?
No.
All right. What happens on, what do you do when you get up Sunday?
I'm trying to call everyone I know that my daughter would have talked to see if they'd talked to her, and no one had. And then I start to panic because I know something's wrong. And my husband told me, he said, my son had stopped by from Green River, so him and his wife were there. And I was getting upset and starting to cry, and my husband said, we'll go look for her. Because I told him, I said, no, I'm telling you, Tommy, something's wrong. So he told me to go file a missing persons report, and him and my son went to look for her.
Did you talk to Kylie again? Do you remember?
I don't think I did.
It's okay. So Tommy told you to go file a missing person report. Is that correct? So do you go to file a missing person?
Yes, sir.
And does anything happen on your way there?
On my way there, in front of Walmart gas pumps, I passed Brooks' house. So my granddaughter was with me, and I told, not Callie, a different granddaughter, Ashley. And I said, will you please text him, because I was driving, and I said, tell him to pull over. I need to talk to him. So he pulls over, and he pulls into the gas pumps, and I get out of my car and walk to his truck. And I go to the passenger side, and he rolls down the window. And I said, have you seen Crystal? Or have you talked to Crystal? And he said, no. And I said, well, what, did y'all get in a fight or something? And he said, no. She gets in a little tizzy sometimes because she thinks I treat Eli different than the other kids. And I said, but you haven't talked to her? And he said, no. And at that point, the baby stuck his head from around the back seat because he was in the car seat. And I knew the instant I saw that baby in the truck that something was definitely wrong, because my daughter never left that baby. Never.
So when you saw the baby, you knew something was wrong?
Yes.
Did you ever see Crystal without the baby after the baby was born?
No, she took that baby to court with her when she used to go. She would take the small claims court, the people that rented from them, and she took him to court with her.
Okay. Have you watched the video at the gas station?
Yes.
Okay. Does it fairly and accurately depict that?
Yes,
Matter of
sir.
fact, we reviewed that shortly before we come in here.
Yes, sir.
correct? Okay. Hang on a second. And does that video fairly and accurately represent that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Judge, I move to introduce comments exhibit into evidence number 4.
What is it?
This is a flash drive.
Oh, flash drive.
It's going to play in the record. Okay, I just went ahead and made a flash drive.
Any objection to 4?
No objection.
May I'll show it's introduced at this time.
Judge, could we put it on the TV? And can I ask Ms. Ballard to come down so she can show ladies on the jury
Yes,
where
sir.
she's at? You can come on down.
I think there's a TV right behind her, too.
Oh, okay. Never mind, I'm sorry. Well, come over here, Sheriff. All right. Well, I want you to point out, you got to come over to me if you're going to say I want you to point out, ladies and gentlemen, the jury, so they can see on their TV screen where you are and where Brooks' house is.
That's me pulling in over here.
And I think you said in the meantime you'd had Ashley
And
call.
this is Brooks out coming into the gas station.
In that truck there?
Yes, this truck right here. And that's me coming over to the truck.
Is that you walking?
Yes, sir. And I go to his passenger side window.
And is this where y'all are having a conversation?
Yes, sir. That's when I'm asking him if he saw my daughter.
That's all right.
Sorry. I'm used to it in my pocket or something.
And you're still talking to him there?
Yes, when I asked Brooks if he saw Crystal, when he told me no, I told him, I said, I'm going to go file a missing persons report. And he just looked at me like I was talking about someone off the street. And he said, I think that's what you should do. He never offered to go with me. He never offered anything. And that's when we left.
Is that you running
That's
by?
me going back to my car.
Let's take a section. So do you all go to the police station?
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, did Ashley go with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did your family do some searching for her?
Yes, we started that night, that very same night. We searched till like 3 o'clock in the morning on the BG,
The BG.
the Bluegrass Parkway. We searched the area where her car was found on the opposite, behind her car, all that.
All right. Did you ever hear from Crystal?
No,
Did you ever find any signs of Crystal?
no,
Did you all have people giving you information?
constantly.
And did you all follow up on it?
Everything, everybody told us we followed up on. My husband told me, Sherry, it might sound, like it's not. You follow everything anybody says. We have to prove that it's not correct.
So, to your knowledge, has Kylie, Tori, Ashley, or Trenton ever heard from Crystal?
No,
All right. Have they been living with you?
yes. They all don't now, but they were.
Right. They're 10 years old now, right?
Yes.
So, to your knowledge, has anybody, either you, family, friends, anybody, heard from Crystal?
No, sir.
Judge Oliver, further.
Any cross?
No, Your Honor.
Ma'am, you may step down. Thank you. We've been going about an hour. Why don't we take about a 10-minute break and be ready with your next witness, okay? So the jury may go with the bail. Remember, the same admonitions are in place, okay? That I've gone over previously.
And so there you just heard what was the lone appearance, on the witness stand, just her testimony under oath of Sherry Ballard talking about everything she could remember, obviously through the pain in her own voice, but just discussing what she could recall from the prosecutor's questions leading up to those days before Crystal disappeared and after, and that encounter she described with Brooks Houck, with the video supporting it there at the gas station. So we're going to continue here on Wave Extra. Coming up after this quick break, we're going to play a little bit more of the testimony. This is mostly sticking to the Steve Lawson trial. We are going to play some of what mattered for the jury in the following trial of Brooks Locke and Joseph Lawson, but we're going to play some of that testimony for you coming up after the break right here on Wave Extra, so we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Wave Extra. Jose Sosaya joining you here if you're tuning in, checking into the Wave Now studio from our Wave Now app on your smart TV, on all the social media channels. Again, thank you for catching that the microphone was muted a little bit earlier to start this stream at around 8:05. But if you've been joining us, what we just played is the long clip from beginning to end of Sherry Ballard's testimony for the prosecution in the first of these two trials, looking into holding some accountability for her daughter Crystal Rogers' disappearance. And so I want to show you is some more of these perspectives and viewpoints from the testimony we were able to get from this new courtroom camera video. A reminder again, us as a media organization, the judge's rule was no cameras on our end allowed inside either of these trials, but there were these different camera angles recording and capturing the words on microphone, and so that's what we're sharing with you a little bit more in depth if you're tuning in tonight, and we're hopefully going to be able to share some of that sound, different bits and pieces of it tonight and through the coming days to further digest this on Wave News at 11 and beyond that, of course. So what we're going to play for you now what was we thought a pretty interesting bit of testimony, and is this in the defense witness brought up during Steve Lawson's trial. This is his mother, Barbara Coulter, answering all of these questions, and is sort of, the comments she talked about, part of her jail phone conversation with Lawson at some point, and just addressing some of her own comments and frustrations about what she felt her son had done as it relates to the crimes that were brought on and the charges that were related to this case. So what I'm going to play for you is part of the testimony that was brought from Barbara Coulter, Steve Lawson's son, in this particular trial.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Ms. Coulter.
Good morning.
Can you state your full name for the record, please?
My name is Barbara Jane Coulter.
Okay, thank you. And I'm going to ask you to talk to the jury, okay?
Okay.
Ms. Coulter, what's your relationship with Mr. Lawson?
He's
Steve
my
Lawson.
son. He's one of my sons.
Okay, and that would make his son Joseph Lawson your grandson?
Correct.
And you understand the circumstances that Mr. Lawson's in today, don't you?
Yes, I do.
I've just got a few questions for you. Do you recall an occasion where you were watching a docu-series or TV show related to the disappearance of Crystal Rogers?
Yes.
You may have to speak up just a little bit.
Yes.
All right. And who were you watching that with?
With Rebecca and Elizabeth, her daughter.
Okay, I'm going to ask you to clarify. Who is Rebecca?
Rebecca Greer at the time was my daughter-in-law.
Okay, and was Rebecca Greer married to Steve?
At that one time, yes.
Okay. And you said Elizabeth Chesser was there as well.
Correct.
I'm going to ask you the question directly. Did anything about this case come up in discussion between you and Elizabeth Chesser?
She was discussing the case with her mother, but I was there.
Okay, and what did you hear Ms. Chesser say?
She was talking about how Joey had been telling her this and this and this of things that had happened, and that at the end he said that if she told anybody or let anybody know what he had told her, something bad could happen to her.
And this was what Joey had conveyed to Elizabeth Chesser.
Correct.
Did Elizabeth ever say anything about things that Stephen Lawson said to her about this case?
No.
Now, Joey's your grandson, right?
Correct.
What kind of relationship does Joey Lawson have with Elizabeth Chesser?
They are still in communication. He still calls her, and I don't know if she's doing it now, but she was sending money for his books.
And this is since he's been incarcerated as a result of this case.
Correct.
And what kind of relationship does she have with Steve?
She has disliked Stevie most all the time since she's known him because of stories that Joey had told her.
What about somebody named Stacy Kramer? Do you know that? Do you recognize that name?
That was the girl that Stevie was dating from E-Town.
Okay, so you said Steve dated her. When did Steve date her?
He was living at my house. It would be 2019.
Say 2019. So Steve Lawson was in a romantic relationship with Stacy Kramer as recently as 2019.
Correct.
Do you remember about how long that relationship lasted?
On and off, maybe 6 months. To my knowledge, they may have been going together before I found out, but I figure around 6 months.
Would it surprise you to know that Ms. Kramer testified that she was afraid of Steve Lawson as early as 2015?
I don't know why she'd be afraid of him, because he was at her house. He had to pay her rent, her grocery bills, and bought things, and so I don't know why she'd be scared of him.
And that relationship, like you said, was in 2019.
Yes.
4 years removed from 2015.
Yes.
Ms. Coulter, phone call was played between you and Mr. Lawson. Since you found out that Mr. Lawson was involved in this, and you recognize he's not hiding that, have you grilled him about this?
Before he went to jail, I did. I was angry. I was hurt. And I mean, he come to my house, and I said, we got to talk. I said, I've told you boys your whole life, don't lie to me, no matter what you've done or how bad it is, don't lie to me. And then, all of a sudden I find out, because he said the only thing he had done was go pick Joey up at the car, his son. And then I find out later it's a whole different...
Let me see, counsel at the bench. It would be hearsay, so what would be the exception to this testimony?
Was it offered for the truth of the matter asserted?
Well,
Or is it given?
yeah, I can just redirect the question. I'm not really asking her what Mr. Lawson told her. So.
I was just necessarily.
Ms. Coulter, without going into what Mr. Lawson has told you, because that's hearsay, okay? I'm not asking you to hide the ball here, but there's rules of evidence that we have to follow, and that's why I'm not asking you to go into what Mr. Lawson told you, okay? I'm asking you if you have grilled Stephen Lawson about his involvement in this case.
Yes.
And you're his mother.
Yes.
And do you and Steve have a good relationship?
Yes.
Do you think he trusts you?
Yeah, I do.
And have you all ever had a bad relationship?
No.
If I could have just one moment, Your Honor.
You may.
Ms. Coulter, I just want to clarify on the phone call that you had to Steve at the jail. You know what phone call I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
You were pretty terse with him, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
You used some profanity,
Yes, I did.
and that was because you were trying to get Steve to tell you the extent of it, right?
Correct.
Did Steve ever tell you? Well, I'm sorry. I'll withdraw the question. I think that's all, Your Honor. Reserve for redirect, please.
Certainly. Any cross?
Just wait.
I'll be right there, Ms. Coulter. I got to put this thing on.
Good morning, Ms. Coulter.
Good morning.
I want to tell you I'm sorry. I didn't want to be here doing this, okay? So, I got to grab my notebook real quick. I'll be right back. Okay? Ms. Coulter, you remember meeting me a
Yes.
couple weeks ago in the kitchen,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
We had a talk, and what you told me that day was the truth. Is that right?
Correct.
Yes, sir. You never. You've been very honest with me, and I appreciate that. You had told me that there was a morning where Steve had called you, right, or called Rebecca, and I think had you both on. I think you're on two-way or something. Does that sound right? Were you all on the phone?
No, because through the court system, only one can talk.
Oh, okay.
And then
Well, you and Rebecca had talked. Is that fair to say?
we had talked, yes.
Okay. And Steve had told you that he had agreed to move a car for Brooks' house, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And that Brooks had asked him to do so, and he agreed to do so, right?
Correct.
Okay. And him and Joey actually moved the car, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you told me that you got 3 kids, right?
I got 4.
4. I'm sorry. 4. Okay. 4 boys.
4 boys.
Bless you. And you told me that you'd gotten good at being able to tell when they're your mom, right? And you could tell when they were lying to you or not?
Yes.
Okay. And you'd went through each kid with me and told me how you knew each one was lying, right? One of them wouldn't say anything, right? The
Right.
other one would look around and wouldn't look at you.
Exactly.
I forgot what the third one
The other
was.
one would look at the floor. He'd never
Look at the floor. And then what did you say about Steve?
If you confront Stevie and you know that he's lied to you, then he gets irritable with you.
Okay. And does he just start talking about stuff?
He'll just talk about, if you've asked him a specific question, he will go to another subject to try to block you off of it.
And you told me, I knew for sure he was telling the truth about that, right?
Exactly.
Yes, ma'am. I don't have any further questions, Ms. Coulter. Thank you.
Any recourse?
Just briefly. Ms. Coulter, during your conversations with the Commonwealth and law enforcement, have you ever conveyed to them that you had knowledge that Stephen Lawson killed Krista Rogers?
No.
Have you ever conveyed to them that Stephen Lawson had knowledge of what happened to Krista Rogers?
No.
That's all I have, Your Honor. Thank you.
Any recross?
Just one.
after this one is over. Did you convey to us, or me really, it was just me and Rebecca, right, talking in the kitchen, that you thought Steve knew more and hadn't told it?
I did it for a long time, yes.
Yes, ma'am. You told me that a couple of weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Thank you very much for telling me.
Any further questions of this witness?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions from any jurors? May this witness be foundly excused.
On behalf of the defense, yes, Your Honor.
You're foundly excused, ma'am. You may go or stay, whatever you wish to do. Call your next witness. You're ready.
So what you just heard there was mostly the testimony brought up by Barbara Coulter when it comes to Steve Lawson's involvement, or what she felt she had heard or seen or knew of that. And ultimately, the jury, by the end of this rather quick trial, based on analysis we've gotten from our own, inside legal team, that it moved at a rather fast pace that was unusual, unorthodox. But you just saw what she provided there of some interest to both the defense and the counsel, or prosecutor counsels there. So what I'm going to play for you coming up here, actually, yes, let's play this part first. So this is what stands out perhaps in the coverage we were able to provide you all, because the sketch artist, showed this through her art and the renderings that we were able to put up on TV. But unlike the two men in the second trial, Brooks Houck and Joseph Lawson, Joseph's father, Steve, did decide to take the stand. It was a rather long, segment of him being there, answering questions from his own counsel, on cross-examination from the prosecution. What I'm going to play for you is more so a rather indicative segment of when he's being cross-examined by one of the Commonwealth prosecutors. I guess, if nothing else, you'll get the sense of sort of this heightened friction between the two men in this setting and this situation. And so you can kind of sense for yourselves the point that at least the prosecution, the Commonwealth, was trying to make in relation to Steve Lawson's case.
Well, no, but I'm just telling you what I said.
And then you went and talked to Charlie Girdley.
I went and told Mr. Girdley exactly what I said. Yes, sir. Just said that.
Because you thought Girdley might do that for him.
Didn't say that. I said I went and told Mr. Girdley what he said.
Well, you told Mr. Girdley that Brooks Houck wanted his wife killed.
And he said, and he laughed it off the same as I did, if you look at his statement, sir.
You knew at that moment that Brooks Houck wanted his wife killed.
No, sir, did not know it. We'll never say that.
He told you, I want her gone.
He said gone. I was the one that said deceased, not him.
You said, you told the grand jury that meant to you he wanted her dead.
To me, that's what I said. Yes, sir, he never said that. And I won't say that he did.
And you moved the car.
Yes, sir. I know, sir. I said.
Where'd you move it to?
I just told you. Well, a while ago, I know you heard me. It went to Thompson Ridge. I didn't move it. My son moved it.
Well, what was the car being moved for?
Don't know.
You're telling this jury you didn't have any idea why you moved this car or this woman?
I just told you that a second ago, did I not? And I won't change my claim. I'll say it again. I don't know. I did not ask. And I'm not going to say that I did when I don't.
Well, you got something out of that movement, didn't you?
What did I get, sir?
You told the grand jury in September 23 that he promised you all of the drywall work that he had.
No, I asked for all of his work that he had, and that was previous before he ever asked me to move the vehicle.
Oh, he was going to give it to you without this arrangement.
I don't know.
Is that what you're telling the grand jury?
I know that he was or he wasn't. He never gave me no answer on that just quite yet.
We heard in your grand jury you were asked, what did you get from moving this car, and you told that grand jury he promised to give me all this work.
He promised to give me, but he never gave me none.
I didn't ask you whether you got it.
Okay.
I asked you whether you had got something in return for this house.
No.
For moving
I
this
never got
car.
nothing. If I didn't get no work, I got nothing.
I didn't ask you whether you got nothing. I asked you, what did he promise you for moving that car?
You're not understanding, sir. I had asked him for the work previous.
I'm asking you whether you had told the grand jury that you got a promise from Brooks' house because you moved that car.
It wasn't for moving the car that I got promised anything. I had
So you
asked
told-
him his work previously.
So what you told the grand jury was lying?
No, that's not right. He was going to give me his work, but you're saying he gave me the work because I moved the car.
Oh, there was no connection.
Hey, you can call it coincidence, whatever. I had asked for the work previously.
All right, well, let's go forward. The car's up on Thompson Hill.
This is correct,
That's
sir.
where David Thompson used
This
it.
is correct, sir.
And you told Joey to get that car out of here, off the Thompson Hill.
Yes, sir. Not
Is that
no
right?
right words, but yes, sir.
Because you didn't want David Thompson to get hooked in this crime. Isn't that what you told the grand jury?
Exactly what I said.
Because a crime was going on, and you were in the middle of that crime.
Well, the crime at that point in time was I thought the car was getting stolen.
He told you he wanted her dead.
You can go run that to the ground all you want. I'm trying to tell you, when it went past a certain point on that farm,
It's
that
what-
car was being stolen.
It's not something I made up. It's what you told the grand jury.
I wouldn't say it
It's
how.
what you told your mom.
What did I
You
tell
told your mom that he told you he wanted her dead.
No, there again. I said deceased. He never said them words. You keep saying he said it when he did not say that.
You're talking to the man. When you're talking to that man and he said, I want her deceased, you told the grand jury that meant to you that he wanted her dead.
You just said he said deceased. He did not say them words.
If I said that, I
Well, I'm not saying
apologize.
he didn't say
But
it.
you told the grand jury that when he told you those words, you knew that to be he wanted her
I said
dead.
that's the way I perceived it. That is what was said.
Well, you perceived it because you were talking to the man.
Well, yeah.
Just like you and I are talking.
Well, I'm talking to you. Yes, sir. I agree. I'm
Now
talking to you.
let's go forward some more.
Yes, sir. Let's do.
What were you all supposed to do with that car?
Sir, I don't know. And I've told everybody that. I told grand jury that. Take Joey, drop him off at the car. I go back to Thompson Ridge, continue to drink. I've never denied that.
You're telling this jury that he asked you to move the car and you don't know where it was going to get moved or what?
I know.
Maybe it was just you thought it was going to be moved a couple blocks down?
Maybe Joey knows where it was supposed to go. I don't know. You can ask him. Because I don't. And I'm not going to say I do when I don't.
The car breaks down.
That's what Joey said, yes.
And this is around maybe late on July the 3rd.
I'm not sure, but
All
I
right.
know it was dark. I can tell you that.
And Joey calls you.
This is correct.
And the phone call lasts 3 minutes or
I'm
so.
not sure. I just know he
Well, it's
called.
in the record.
I just know he called.
All right. What were you talking during that 3 minutes after the car broke down on the bluegrass?
He told me the car broke down.
Well, that's about 12 seconds.
Well, I mean,
all right. I
we're
want to know what for 3 minutes you're talking on the
That's a
phone.
long time. I can't answer that because I don't know. All I know is where are you located? That's the first thing I'm going to ask. Where are you located at? I'm on Bluegrass Parkway. Well, we're at. It's a long area. Where are you located at? Well, I'm headed toward E-Town. Okay, you're headed toward E-Town. How far? Are you at Line Station or where are you at? Well, of course, I ain't gonna lie to you. My son done been doing some dope. I didn't get no whole lot of answers out of him. Just headed toward E-Town. Guess what? I'll head that direction. So I did head.
And you're telling this grand jury you don't know any more about that 3 minute phone
If
call?
I did, I would have just sit there and told you, sir.
All right. So you get
10
there.
years ago. I can't answer some of these questions.
You get to the 14-mile mark, right?
Actually, I passed it up
And come back.
and come back on the other side of the road.
And then went to the car.
Yes, sir, I did.
Am I right?
You are correct.
Got inside the car.
What
Am I right?
What do you mean got inside the car?
Crystal's car.
What do you mean I got inside the car?
Did you go get inside her car
No, I reached my arm inside her car. I did not get in her car.
and move the seat?
I told him I did second.
Is that right?
This is correct, sir.
You moved the seat so that it would appear that Crystal was the last person who was in that car.
Well, if it's her car, yes, I knew my son was just driving it. I'm not sure. I'm gonna say 6'1". Maybe he is that 6'1". I'm not for sure. I can't answer that. But I know she was shorter than he was.
You moved it because you wanted it to create this illusion
I've never done
that
that.
she was out there
No.
and the last person in the car.
Go ahead.
You didn't want Joy
I've never denied
implicated.
that. I've never denied that. I have admitted that. I've never denied that.
You moved that seat up because that was part of the conspiracy that you had with Brooks to move that car and get it out of here.
You can say whatever you want to phrase it. That's not so.
Well, then what was the reason to move the
Just
car?
move the car. I don't know. You have to ask
What reason
her.
was it to move her seat forward?
Because my son was driving the car. He's 6'1". Is Crystal 6'1"?
All right, let's go to a little bit later. After you moved that car, did you make a phone call to Brooks?
My son said, like, tell him the job's done. So I did just that. The car had been moved. No more, no less.
The car was sitting on the bluegrass.
That's where it broke down at, evidently. That's what I got told, that it had broke down. Am I not right about that? Because according to the FBI, it had a flat tire and a piece of metal in it. So it was broken.
So you told them, is this what you're telling the jury, that the car is done? We moved the car. Is that what you told him?
What my boy said.
All right.
So, yeah, I'll tell him the car's done. It's moved.
On July the 8th,
Don't know about that.
4 or 5 days later,
Okay.
you get a phone call from Brooks Houck to you.
So I got a phone call from him.
You remember that phone call?
Sure I don't, but you can enlighten me, please.
He's in the Nelson County Sheriff's Office and he calls you.
Okay, I do remember this.
You remember this?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. And he's asking you, what was that phone call about back on 1207 on July the 4th? He's asking, you remember what that was? You remember being asked that in that phone call?
I'm going to say yes, I think I do, but I'm not going to be just say for sure. How's that?
And you remember telling him that the phone call was about getting a house for your stepdaughter, Lauren.
And I had called him about a house. Yes, sir, I did.
You told this grand jury on September the 20th of 1923 in the Nelson County grand jury.
Okay.
That was a lie. That you and Brooks Houck had got together and made a plan to lie. To say that phone call at 12:07 on the 4th of July was to help Lauren, your stepdaughter, get an apartment or a house. That was a set play between you and Brooks to deceive the Nelson County Sheriff's Office. Do you remember telling the grand jury that in September?
This is what I think I told them. I mean, I can't quote word for word, so don't hold me word for word.
We heard the words yesterday afternoon. Did you listen to that at the time?
Some of it, I was doing other things too, but I didn't hear it all. No, sir, did not.
You want to hear that again?
No, I don't need to hear it. I'll take you at your word.
All right, is that true? That you and Brooks decided to make a lie? To lie to the Nelson County Sheriff's Office about what that call was on 12:07 on July the 4th. Is that true?
Now, can I speak?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. I had called him about an apartment for my daughter, by the way, thank you, and this can be proven. But here's what was said. I moved the vehicle. Well, I didn't move. My son did. I just assisted. And I told him, I said, the job is done. He said, well, you can use you to say that you called about an apartment after moving the car. And when you said it was done. Well, the job was done. Joyce had called and said the car was moved. So that's what I did. The car is moved. Job is done. He said, well, you can use for about calling me for an apartment so it don't look like that you done anything wrong. And that is the way it happened. But you're trying to say it happened a different way, and it didn't.
I'm telling you what you told the grand jury on September the 20th.
I told you just then.
That you told the grand jury on September the 20th.
Go ahead.
Of 23 that you and Brooks got together before this call.
No.
And you planned a lie.
Go ahead.
You want to hear that? You want me to play this for you and the jury?
Play nothing. I done told you that, sir. I told you that.
You're trying to tell this jury that it was not necessarily a lie. It was kind of a wiggle room or something.
Well, you can call it hair.
That was a lie.
You can call it a white lie or a big lie, whatever.
It was a lie.
We'll just call it a lie then. That's the way it suits you.
And why did you and Brooks House decide to lie? Why would you need to lie?
Well, you got to ask him that one. Don't ask me.
So needless to say, and again, there's much more we could play, but that would require just another kind of manpower to play for that whole thing for you, and I wouldn't want to keep you here on Wave Extra all night, but certainly know that we have copies of the full, at least this segment of testimony for Steve Lawson. Again, the one man out of the three who went up to try to testify in his own defense. Regardless, he, Brooks Houck, and his son Joseph Lawson all found guilty by the respective juries when it comes to their respective charges in Crystal Rogers' disappearance. But there you get an impression of how that all played out upon cross-examination by the prosecution. The initial part that I played for you at the very beginning of the clip was more so in reference to what precipitated all of it was that conversation that prosecutors mentioned that Steve Lawson had with Brooks Houck, the one that prosecutors said involved Houck's own words that he wanted Crystal, quote, gone, and sort of everything that flowed from that initial conversation. I'm hearing some comments there from Kathy. We'll have to find a different avenue. I wish I could play again for you all tonight. There's just a lot, and obviously it was a testimony that spanned the course of full days over several days. So perhaps there might be a venue to discuss all of this video that we do have at least a copy of now. Well, that might be a discussion we'll have and see what we can do for you all to be able to watch that along with us, because there's even some parts of all the testimony for both trials that we still haven't been able to see from 0 second all the way to the very end. So, but what we do want to play for you as we take a quick break, and after this we're going to wrap up tonight, is the bit of testimony in the Brooks Houck Joseph Lawson trial that was the point of the last question the jury had before they, ultimately finished their deliberation to render those guilty verdicts. So after this quick break on Wave Extra, I'll show you this piece of testimony from one of the witnesses the jury found more important, perhaps more important than the others. So we will be right back here on Wave Extra. All right, everyone, thanks for sticking with us. Jose Sosaya and the Wave Extra Desk now. If you've been staying with us, what's been past a whole hour since 8:05 is just these longer deep dives into these long testimony clips from both Steve Lawson and Brooks Houck and Joseph Lawson's trials when it comes to the disappearance of Crystal Rogers. And so the last thing we're going to play for you tonight, and I am noticing you some questions here from the folks who've joined in to stream on our social channels, so Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and X. Of course, the interest from the very beginning in the investigation and all the attention and the emotion it's connected with so many folks here in our region, Wave Country, Bardstown. It's extended and caught so many eyes across the country. Yes, there is plenty of video, and we have the CDs to back that up in our copies that we're going to put in our system. It's just too much for myself, yours truly, to play in one given night, and just have to be ready for the news tonight at Wave News at 11 with the rest of the team. So that's why, unfortunately, at least for tonight, we can't play all of the testimony you probably some of you would have liked to have heard. What I'm going to play for you as the last bit for this special segment, the special edition, is the bit of testimony that the 12 jurors wanted to look at again as a recording because of the value they found from this particular witness, Charlie Girdley, and he comes up in the moment in the narrative prosecutors built when Brooks Houck had that conversation with Steve Lawson, and then Steve Lawson sharing his impression, as he put it on the stand, from that conversation and sharing the information with Charlie Girdley. So that'll be the last thing we play for you tonight as far as our first look at this never-before-seen inside the courtroom video from the trials that have taken up so much of your attention and our coverage over the last couple of months. So we're going to play that for you right now.
Mr. Girdley, I'm going to ask you questions, but I'm going to ask you to direct your answers to them, okay? Would you please introduce yourself to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Charlie Girdley.
Okay, Mr. Girdley, and where did you grow up?
In Bardstown.
All right. Do you still live in that area?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what do you do for a living?
I do framing, remodeling, construction.
Are you a carpenter by trade?
Yes, sir.
All right. And are you currently employed?
Yes, sir.
All right. Where do you work?
Richie Riggs.
Okay. And are you a convicted felon?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And do you have a conviction for possession of methamphetamine?
Yes, sir.
All right. And back in 2015, were you using drugs?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you clean today?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how long have you been clean, Charlie?
Since 2023.
All right. We'll get to that in a minute. Does anything significant happen in 2023?
Went back to jail for absconding.
Okay. So I want to talk a little bit. Are you familiar with the defendant Brooks Houck?
Yes, sir.
Are you familiar with the defendant Joseph Lawson?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Does he go by Joey?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And back in 2015, who'd you work for?
Brooks Houck.
All right. And did you do carpentry work for him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you framing?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, how do you know Joey Lawson?
Worked with him before at Gene Hatfield Construction.
Was that before you worked for Brooks?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did he work for Mr. Hatfield?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What about Steve Lawson? Are you familiar with him?
Yes, sir. Joey's dad. Met him through Joey.
Okay. So you met Steve through Joey, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, how long have you known Joey?
I guess 2014, somewhere around there.
All right. And Steve?
Right at 2015, somewhere around June there.
Okay. Did they work for Brooks as well?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, do you know when they began to work for Brooks?
I run into them in late May of 2015.
Okay. Had you seen them before?
No, I ran Brooks.
All right.
Jobs.
And what were they doing for Brooks?
Skid steer work, dressing up yards and stuff.
All right. So skid steer is kind of a term, right? Is that also known as a bobcat?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you said they were dressing up yards.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know what that means, Charlie. What's
they were grading out the yards and everything, getting them ready for grass seed and everything, getting them all smooth.
All right. So when you all worked for Mr. Houck, were there several houses in the construction phase?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I just said there's different phases, correct?
Right.
Okay. The front end being pouring a basement or framing a house, is that
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Yes.
Would that be where you worked?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And on the back end would be doing the finishing work on houses, is that correct?
Right.
And getting the yard ready to seed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And is that where Joey and Steve Lawson would be?
Yes, sir.
All right. Would you see them every day?
No.
And are you familiar with Crystal Rogers?
I knew it was Brooks' girlfriend. I mean, I never met her a couple of times.
Okay. Was that on the job site?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you familiar with Rosemary Howe?
Brooks' mother. Yes, sir.
Where do you know her from?
I met her up to her house when I was helping Brooks do a job up there.
Okay. And did she have anything to do with Brooks's business, if you know?
Not that I know of. I mean,
Okay. And are you familiar with Nick Howe?
I mean, I met him, but
Okay. And where did you meet?
I met him up at Rosemary's house whenever I was helping Brooks.
Okay.
I met him at one time.
All right. And was he a police officer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was that somebody you wanted to hang around back then?
No.
All right. Why not?
I was a convicted felon and usually had a warrant on me at that time.
Okay. Was Nick ever at the job sites?
No, not that I know of.
Okay. So do you remember the weekend of July 4th?
Yes, sir.
The Friday being the 3rd, the Saturday being the 4th? Do you
Yes,
remember
sir.
that weekend?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember any conversation what you had about Joey about Crystal's car that week?
He said he would bury it with a skid steer, nobody ever found it.
Can you say it one more time?
He said he would bury it with a skid steer, nobody ever found it.
All right. What about Steve?
Steve had come up to me and said something about Brooks wanted to get rid of his old lady. He wasn't the man for the job that I was.
All right.
I just looked at him and laughed at him and walked off.
The term old lady, I'm familiar with it, but who would he be referring to?
I'm assuming Crystal.
Okay. Now that 3rd, did you work that day?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And was there anything going on that weekend that it's 4th of July weekend? Do you have a usual routine?
I went to a pre-party of a friend of mine's house
Okay, a pre-party?
to help him get ready for his party on the 4th.
Okay. And did you stay there?
I did for a little while and then I left.
All right. How did you leave?
Joey picked me up.
Okay, and what was
Went
he?
to the bar for a little while.
Hold on, wait. What did he pick you up in?
300 Chrysler.
Okay. And then you were going to say you went somewhere, right?
Yes, sir. Went to the bar.
All right. What bar was that?
62 South.
Okay. Was it still daylight then, or was it dark?
It's still daylight.
Okay.
Stayed up there for just a little bit and then went and met with Brooks and got my pay for that week.
Okay. You went and got paid, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you remember about what time of day that would be?
I can't give you an exact time. It was still daylight.
Okay. And do you remember if he paid you in cash or check?
Cash. Pretty sure it was cash.
Okay. And if you don't remember, Charlie, just...
I mean, I'm not real sure, but
Okay, that's
pretty
okay. I'm
sure,
just saying,
'cause
if I
they
ask
paid me
you a
in
question-
checks sometimes and he paid me in cash at
What I'm
times.
saying is if I ask you a question you don't know the answer to, just you can tell me I don't know. Okay?
Okay.
Now, was anybody with him?
No.
Okay. Did Joey pick up anything?
Brooks picked him a set of keys. Joey said he had to work on Crystal's car, put brakes and rotors on it.
Okay. Now, how long did that whole thing take when y'all met with Brooks?
Just a matter of a few minutes.
Okay. And Where'd y'all go after that?
Went back to the bar and sat at the bar for a few minutes, then left the bar, went to my house. I took a shower and everything, got ready, and then we left my house, went to Joey and
Who's
Steve's.
we? Hold on, who's we?
Me and Joey.
Okay.
And then went to Joey and Steve's place, picked up Steve, and went back to the bar.
All right. And where was Joey and Steve's place at?
Thompson Hill Road.
Thompson Hill Road. All right. And then where'd you go after that?
Went back to the bar. And then after I left the bar there, I left with my daughter and went back to the pre-party,
Okay.
where I stayed pretty much the rest of the night.
I didn't hear you. I'm
That's where
sorry.
I stayed the rest of the night.
Okay. Now, did you hear anything else from Joey that night?
At one time or another, I don't know, I'm not real sure if it was that night or before or after, but he said he'd been shave their head and pull their teeth and the hogs would do rest.
Okay. Did you ever get did Joey ever get a hold of you either that night or the next day?
I tried to get up to me to said his car broke down on the bluegrass, that he needed help getting it off the bluegrass, and I told him I was drinking and I wasn't going to get a truck and trailer to.
Had he asked you to get a trailer?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you told him what?
I told him I was drinking and I wasn't going to get a truck or a trailer or nothing that time of night.
Okay.
I wasn't driving.
Did he give you any idea where he was on the bluegrass?
I just, between the Bellwood ramps.
Between the Bellwood ramps?
Bellwood Road.
Okay, is there an
Hold
open
on,
house?
hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. We got a juror that's having a hard time hearing.
Sorry.
Who's having a hard time hearing right now?
Charlie, you got to speak up.
Speak,
Do we have
okay.
any hearing? Do we have any hearing devices? I don't know if we give her a hearing device. See if that helps her. Does that help any? Okay.
You were talking about Bellwood Road, right?
Yeah, there's
I'm not
two
familiar with Bellwood.
overpasses.
Is there an
There's two
overpass?
overpasses that go across the bluegrass
Okay.
at different times. He just said he was in between those two.
And after that, did you go? You didn't go, right?
No.
Okay. Now, after that week, did you see Steve Lawson?
After that week, I'm sure I did. I mean, I don't.
Was he working?
I
If you don't know, Charlie.
don't know.
Okay. All right. How about Joey?
I mean, I've seen Joey off and on, but I mean, I've seen him at work and off work a little bit. But
Okay. Did you ever, after this, did you ever do any work at 345 Pascal Ballard Road?
that's Rosemary's house, and yeah,
Okay. And what did you do there?
I helped Brooks pour some concrete up there at the barn.
Okay. And was anything said about Crystal?
Rosemary said it'd been better off if she'd been gone long before she was.
You may.
Judge, we'd object to that. It's hearsay, and at this point, they're arguing that she's dead, so there's not a statement in furtherance of conspiracy. It's different than.
Well, no, Judge, it could go to her statement could go to motive because she said that boy will be raised right now.
But she's not a defendant in the case.
But she's a named co-conspirator.
It doesn't matter. The case law is very clear. Once the object of the conspiracy, which what he's alleging is a murder, is completed, and if you believe what his proof, on July 3rd of 2015, she is no longer alive, anything that Rosemary says is simply hearsay.
With the exception of an admission by a co-conspirator.
It is not. It is
I think the co-conspirator says it has to be in furtherance of the conspiracy.
Correct.
And the conspiracy would be over if she's dead.
Yes.
So I'll sustain the injuries.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Hold on one second. Okay. We've got a juror that needs to use the restroom, so I'm going to take a break at this point, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, please remember the same admonitions. I understand somebody needs to go to the bathroom, so I'm not going to do them, but you all should know them by now, so make sure you follow the same admonitions. You may go with the bailiff. We'll take a 15-minute break and start back at 11, okay?
So again, they're just a portion of, the testimony the jury wanted to revisit as they were mulling over their decision, A, on a verdict, and then turning that into be the sentencing recommendation for trial number 2 of this particular segment with Brooks Houck and Joseph Lawson's respective convictions in the end, verdict of guilty on both of their counts. So we appreciate you having stuck with us throughout the night. Like I mentioned, we'll find an avenue for you all to break down, for us to see as we break down the different moments of testimony in this total 10 days worth of recordings probably that we have here from Steve Lawson's trial stretching into Brooks Houck and Joseph Lawson's trial. So we'll find a way perhaps to share that with you throughout the next coming days and weeks on Wave Extra. If you all make sure to tune over to Facebook. I know in some of the comments on social, some folks were wanting to perhaps replay the testimony from Sherry Ballard, perhaps look again at that segment of Steve Lawson's defense testimony that I had brought up. And of course, as we just played that now as a comment I'm seeing there from Velda, that was part of Charlie Girdley's testimony. We'll find a way to see if we can play longer context, because for some of these witnesses or speakers on the stand, there was just too much sound and video to have to play, at least for myself, for you tonight. So a reminder, if you go to the Facebook after this is over, the stream, you can look at that recording and see what we had shared with you tonight as we received these copies from the courtroom cameras, unable to record our own version, but sharing this with you so you could have those eyes and ears inside the courtroom for what's been fairly consequential, of high interest, high meaning for a lot of the viewers you've all checked in on and the greater Bardstown community, and just a lot of interest across Kentucky and beyond. So we appreciate you joining us tonight on this last Wave Extra of the week. We'll be back on Monday here in the Wave Now studio. Reminder, we're going to have much more of today's breaking news, updates, investigations on Wave News at 11. Always get those updates with your Wave News app, the Wave Weather app, on wave3.com. And to see more of these the comments here. And I'm going to read one more scene from Kathy here. Daytime. There might be an avenue, I would say, Kathy, to your question of seeing the full testimonies of these men played out in context, which, again, we could find another opportunity for somewhere down the short-term future, I will say. So that's going to do it for us tonight. Appreciate you joining us for this segment of Wave Extra. Hope everyone has a good weekend. Take care.